going through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So today I will talk about, the recent, I wouldn't say drama, but the controversy that has been going on in the SSO community and Star Stable's response to everything. So I'm pretty sure you know what's been going on by now, but if you don't, the Star Stable community has been quite divided these past few weeks because the updates recently have been quite disappointing, and we're just getting new horses even though that's not what a lot of people want, and it just feels like SSO doesn't listen to their own community. And honestly, they got a lot of very valid criticism, but a lot of people who are, on the other side, so on SSO's side, kind of brush it up under this umbrella of hate, which is not. I mean, there will always be some hate and people just saying like nasty things, but from what I saw, a lot of people genuinely want SSO to do good, and what they're currently doing might lead to their downfall. But anyway, they posted this thing on their, I don't even know what this is, like one of their websites, and they said questions from our community. They answered 5 different questions, and so I'm just gonna read them and give my thoughts and opinions on all of them. Before I actually get into it, this is just my personal opinions, and I really don't want anyone to take it too personally, and I'll try to stay neutral or not let my emotions get the best of me because I don't want to fan the flames. But some of the things that they wrote I just really don't agree with. But anyway, let's just get into what they said. They started off with, "Hi Starfam, we have seen some questions popping up on our social media channels, so we wanted to give you some answers to the most common ones here all in one place." The first question that they answered is, "What projects does Star Stable have besides the game?" Pretty much everything we do is related to the game in one way or another, but it isn't always visible to the outside. Behind the scenes, we are working on all sorts of things besides game design, maintaining and updating the technology which runs the game, finding and training new employees, supporting and building our community, updating our development tools, maintaining or improving existing features, and eliminating critical bugs in the game. Beyond that, we're always trying to find creative ways to further explore the characters of Star Stable online, and so far we have done it through books, comics, short stories, animations, and music. We have invested in new teams to work on these exciting new areas for us, so it doesn't take any time or resources away from game development. Our aim with this content is to bring the SSO characters to life across many platforms and enhance the experience of our player community. So I have some things to say here, obviously. I think it's kind of funny how they want to, explore the SSO characters and, bring them to life across many platforms. But the thing is, they really don't do that much with them in the actual game, or at least they haven't in the past few months or maybe years. I mean, they literally have so many projects going on right now, the animated series, books, music, comics. I mean, as they listed, yeah, you might read the comic, maybe you want to read the book, listen to music, but the actual gameplay or things to do, it doesn't really count as that. And I think I'll stop here for this point, question, whatever, because a lot of the things that I want to say kind of tie up or would be better in other questions. So let's get into the next one, which is quite interesting, and that is, how does Star Stable balance horse releases with other content? We love horses and we're proud to be the best of the few horse adventure games out there. We know that our community loves horses too, and we're so happy when we see our players get excited about our monthly release, and even favorites out of are 42 horse breeds and magical horses. But we know that the magic of Star Stable isn't just about getting to know a wide range of great horses. Jorvik is a big island with a long story of magic and fun things to do, along with your other friends in-game. We're always working to give you new areas to explore, such as when we released Starshine Ranch, the western area, in April 2020. More recently, you got to see another brand new area, Wild Woods. But we know you may still have questions about what we're working on, so we will be regularly sharing more details from our roadmap to give you a sneak peek. I just really personally dislike this part because they basically say that the community loves getting so many horses and they love it too, which is obviously correct for a lot of people in the community, but there's also a lot of people in the community that are saying and have been saying that we're getting way too many horses. And I think it's just the funniest how they worded everything and talked about, the game as if they give us so many, new quests and things to do, and we're always working to give you new areas, when there's been years when we didn't get anything. And yes, we did get Wild Woods recently and let's say Starshine Ranch last year, but there were still years that went by when we didn't get anything. So for them to be like, oh yeah, they get new area almost every week or something like that. I mean, you can kind of see how they're saying things, and that's just how it's gonna be throughout this whole, post or whatever. I got kind of frustrated when I first read it because I was like, no. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the next point, which is what is the status of development around quests and the storyline. We know that many of our players have been keeping up and playing through the story for years now, and we want to see what happens next. We're excited too. We do have some upcoming twists in the plot and some old friends returning, including Fripp. Our team is always working on developing content and other fun things to do in-game. We will always be working on it, but it takes many hours of work from multiple people on the team to make just 1 minute of gameplay. We aren't complaining, we love doing it. In recent months, we've had quests with many new characters, such as Rangers of Redwood Point, the Wild Horse Herds, and Gary Goldtooth. But creating all this takes a lot of time and consideration. Moving forward, we will be sharing more roadmap details regularly, so you know what to expect, much of which is inspired by great feedback and suggestions from our player community. Yeah, this is just, again, I dislike it quite a bit, so it seems like they might be planning some new main story quests. The thing is, if we exclude the soul riding, we haven't gotten any new main story quests in 2 years, and even if we do include soul riding, it's been 1 year. I know that quests and dialogue and just placement of the characters and just the general story take a lot of time and effort, but we really aren't seeing that time and effort that they're saying they're putting in. As they said, they're always working on developing content and other fun things, but where? In the recent updates we got, one update was just a button, an insignificant small button that would change your horse to a magical or a normal horse. And last week we got tag recolors of quote-unquote popular set. I don't think it's popular. I never see anyone have it, but obviously it's the most expensive one, so let's go for that one. And I just love how they wrote it as if we've been getting so many new quests. I mean, yes, we got quite a few new quests with the Wild Herds and Rangers, but that was in the past 2 or 3 months. So what about the other months of the year? And yes, as I said, it takes a lot of time to do new quests, but I don't think it takes, 9 months to create some content for I don't know, maybe 3 hours of gameplay. And what I really dislike about the quests that we do get is that they are just like useless quests that don't usually lead to anywhere. For example, we will get a new race or something, and the quest will basically be, oh, help this and this person to, create the racetrack or whatever. And for example, this week's update will most likely be a collection with Big Bonnie, which is, I like collections, but the thing is, this will not be like a continuation of anything. It will stand on its own, and what it's going to be is we're going to pick up trash around Jorvik. I just hate it because there's so many unfinished quests and unanswered questions, all of that. I don't know if we'll ever get a continuation of, instead of focusing on the old stories and quests that, we haven't finished, they're just creating new characters and just doing that, which is okay, but there are so many areas and, quests, other things that are so interesting and supposedly important for the main story, and they just ignore them. And if they want to kind of strive away from what SSO used to be, I think they still should do some quests. Again, I really dislike how they're basically pretending that everything's alright and, the community loves horses, they're getting so many amazing things, new areas, quests all the time. We always take their feedback and suggestions. Anyway, the next question is, how does Star Stable respond to feedback and suggestions from our player community? And this one is gonna be pretty interesting, don't you think? So let's just get into it. We understand that some of our community believe we have not been listening as well lately, and we're sorry to hear that. We are extremely grateful to have such a passionate and engaged player community who loves the game so much. We always want to make sure we're doing our best to communicate with you, but we know we can be doing better. Every day we hear amazing suggestions and helpful feedback across our various channels, and we value it immensely. We read every single comment, and our social media team compiles it and passes it along to the game team, who does their best to incorporate what they can. Of course, we can't develop features for all your requests for technical reasons, but we love hearing your thoughts as they inspire us to think about new content and experiences that we can deliver. But we often can and do. Here are some examples of things we added to the game based on ideas that came from the community. The Western discipline, new horse name suggestions, much requested horse breeds, beatless bridles, and even crafting was added after it came in as a suggestion from the community. We will continue to work behind the scenes on sharing your feedback, suggestions, so we can fix things that aren't working right, and so even more fun things get built. So this first part is basically dismissing everyone who's been saying something and being like, oh, just like a fraction of people said this, like 100, maybe 1,000. This actually reminds me a lot of like YouTuber apologies, where it's like, oh, I'm so sorry that you feel that way, which is basically what they wrote throughout this whole article. Yes, they do ask for feedback and constructive criticism, but then they brush it off as hate most of the time, even though a lot of it is constructive criticism. They're gonna find like one hate comment and a lot of people will be like, oh, everyone's just hating, it's a trend, and it's really not. People are just speaking because obviously they're customers and they want SSO to do good. Like, who wants SSO to fail and do bad, whatever? I forgot a good English word for it, but what can we do? I'm sure some of the feedback that they get, they pass along, but they really don't incorporate it at all. Let's take the example of the Frisian horses that we got recently as a few months ago. I remember when they posted the first, like, I think it was a grayscale model of the horses, and they were like, oh, give us, feedback, and what do you think we should do? Right before they were released, they just changed a few minor things because the community was in an uproar. But anyway, after they were released, it was actually discovered that the horses, they were basically done by the time they were like, oh, we started working on this. Tell us what you want us to incorporate. And I think it's just funny and manipulative to make, your community feel like they were a part of something, like they could do something. I mean, it was very obvious that they didn't take any criticism because the horses looked nothing like the community asked. Like, people even redrew them, like with thicker legs and smaller heads or smaller noses. I don't remember, but Star Stable didn't do anything. I mean, they did do some things. They were very, very small changes, and for them to be here and be like, oh, we take all the criticism, we do all this and all that, when they really don't. Also, they said that they incorporated all these things because the community asked for. I mean, the only real big suggestion that I would agree that the community really asked for were bitless bridles, new horse names, and maybe Western discipline, but I don't think that they are adding, new horse breeds because the community is asking for them, because I just think they're, in a meeting and they're like, oh, which horse breed do you think we should do next? Yes, some people do suggest horse breeds in the comments of their Instagram post, but overall I don't think it's that much. And I've also never seen people ask for crafting in the game, so I mean, maybe some people did. The last part is, what is it like to work at Star Stable during COVID? They said, did you know that we're 170 plus people who work at Star Stable Entertainment? There's a lot of us, we work in many different roles and the company is growing. But it's never easy to run a growing company, and COVID-19 has made communication and collaboration more of a challenge. We added new and better tools to check in on our team health. We make sure to communicate a lot with each other. In addition to the day-to-day conversations, we do regular employee surveys where we ask and get feedback on everything from mental health to career development to current work situation. This helps us understand and address any challenges or worries our employees face in our company. Just like any company, with or without a global pandemic, no matter how great things may be for many, there are employees who do not find this to be the right place for them and choose to find another company. Of course, we're always sad to see people leave, and we do our best to ask and learn what we could have done better so that we can improve. We will emerge as a stronger company and culture once we're able to return back to the office to see our colleagues' smiling faces. Of course, I understand that COVID-19 has been very hard on everybody, not only in mental health, even small things that we used to do changed, and I really understand that it's hard, but the things that are currently talked about, I think there's been a slow, gradual process that began before COVID was even a thing. I don't want to sound insensitive because, I think everyone's been struggling during COVID. I still think this doesn't justify the fact that we just aren't getting any content in SSO. With last week's update, they didn't even try to make the pictures look good, which is just sad, and all they had to do was recolor, and of course they chose the most expensive tag. And as I said, this whole thing kind of reminds me of a YouTuber apology where they kind of sweep everything under the rug and they're like, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way, I will do better, and they don't. I don't really know what else to say because I feel like I said everything that I had to say. But if you have anything else to add, comment down below, but please be civil because I don't think this is something that the community should fight about, like neither side, because there's obviously been a big divide, but I feel like we shouldn't just blindly follow what the company says because you can kind of see through their actions, not only their words, what they actually mean and want. And if I'm being completely honest, I also am pretty certain that nothing will change and nothing will come out of this whole situation, especially after reading through this. The only thing that could make SSO change its mind is if people stopped buying star coins, which obviously won't happen because some people aren't bothered by all the new horses. Maybe they have a lot of money or just, I don't know, love the game and don't care about this. And while I'm on the topic of horses, I feel like it's been so much less meaningful and fun to get them. I remember like 2 years ago I was so excited for new horses, but now it's like, oh, which one are we getting this month? And they said monthly horse releases, which basically means that we are gonna get 7 new horses each month. I think this is gonna be it for this video. Again, if you have anything to say, make sure to comment down below. And I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye!